Right, Year 9, we are on page 194. We are translating the story Tarquinius Seizes the Throne. I may have mentioned Tarquinius before, a name that appears among the kings of Rome, and it has very negative connotations, and we will find out why soon. So we are still in the period of history when Rome is ruled by kings, and all these men are constantly trying to seize power. And the previous story, we had this young slave boy who had this kind of circle of fire above his head. So therefore, he was the one who had been chosen by the gods. They believe it to be an omen and a vision to suggest that he was going to be king. But now this guy, Tarquinius, is going to turn up. And as the title suggests, he has got ideas of his own. So I'm going to translate the first paragraph for you. There are then 3 more paragraphs for you to translate. Once you've gone through those yourselves and spent a decent amount of time on them, thought about the grammar, use this as a great opportunity for revision to practice translation, then you can watch the second video, which will go through the rest of the story. But I'm just going to translate the first bit for you and pick out any weird grammatical features that might be useful. So here we go. Firstly, the most important thing to do is read the introduction, because that will tell you what's going to happen in the story, and if that doesn't happen in your translation, you've got it wrong. So a disgruntled son of the former king plots to wrest the kingdom away from Servius Tullius, the slave boy who had been blessed by the omen of the fire. Let's start. So Servius Tullius was the king of Rome, Romi being your genitive. He was ruling well, and the Romans were loving him. So eum there, the accusative of is. Lucius Tarquinius, however, the son of Tarquinius Priscus, again, 2 genitives, who had been, pluperfect, king previously. And then it tells you in the vocab on page 194 that invideo means I envy, and that it's followed by the dative case. Ei is the dative of is. Remember, pronouns, when they become dative, just end in I. Because invideo takes the dative, we just translate it as was envying him. His wife, uxor eos, so eos being the genitive there, the wife of him, so his wife, named Tullia, was the daughter of genitive, Servius Tullius. This story is testing you out on no genitives. Incitabat, was urging the anger, iram. Juvenis could be nominative, but it could also be genitive because it's third declension. So was urging the anger of the young man. Okay. Then you've got a bit of speech. Now, the safest thing that you can do with speech is get rid of the inquits, translate the inquit first, and then you can focus on everything inside the speech marks. So, she said, your father, husband, was the king of Rome. Now, we've got debebas. Now, debeo means I should or I ought. If that was present tense, you could translate this sentence as you ought to be king, therefore. Okay, but that makes it all sound present. And debebas is the imperfect, so we need to put it into the past somehow. But you can't really say you were oughting to be king, therefore. So instead, we make the essay bit sound like it's in the past instead. So you ought to have been king, therefore. Carrying on, my father, however, was once a slave. Regnum tuum recipe, recipe being in the imperative, take back your kingdom. Tuum meaning your. And then libera is another imperative, free Rome. And then the final sentence, the fierce words, neuter plurals, ending in a, look, the adjective as well as agreeing with the noun, the fierce words of the wife, or of his wife, persuaded Tarquinius easily. So let's see what Tarquinius does. You are now in charge of the 2 further paragraphs on page 194, And then also watch out, because the story continues on page 195. Make sure you translate that final paragraph. So 3 paragraphs in total for you to translate there. And then watch the next video.